Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Noel Zone. This is the Tarda Zone Talks, and we are here, as I said last night, to talk about Jinkx Monsoon. Because, like everybody that is part of the show, and I did predict this as well, I did say that the supporting cast, the cast, would all come out with their rhetoric, their false narrative. The media have also come out with their false narrative, and we are here to actually talk about Super John, Nigel, President Lemon, and yeah, so that's who we have. We got 20 people watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We're on 3 different platforms at the moment: X, YouTube, and Facebook. So wherever you are, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Now, as we did yesterday, we tried to put the articles up on the screen, but we start getting technical difficulties. So the articles are in the link description, guys, if you want to actually take a look at them. So I just want to get that out there before we start this stream, because obviously we need to cover our backs, of course, when we do this type of thing. And we've got Dark Donny in the chat as well. So we got 2 articles, and the first one that I want to cover first before we get into the main one, where is it? Yeah, here it is. It's from Mashable. So I'll read along. So Jinkx Monsoon promises the cutest season of Doctor Who you've ever seen. Now, I can't say the word that I said yesterday, because apparently if you're a lefty, it's okay. But if you're me, you can't say the Q word. So when I mean Q, I mean part of the LGBTQ, right? So when I say Q, that's what I mean. So Jinkx Monsoon promises the cutest season of Doctor Who ever, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's not about sci-fi anymore, isn't it not, Jinkx? Just to let you know, Jinx did actually block me. Didn't take long, you know, for someone that acts tough in all of these articles. Didn't take long for you to block me, though, did it? So you're not so tough. You know, it's great when you have your media pals in the media to back you up. You act all tough. You all act all tough. But what happens is then is when you're actually, you know, when people actually approach you and criticize you for the words that you've said, you run like the cowards that you all are. And that's what you are. You are all a bunch of cowards. But anyway, the 2-time RuPaul Drag Race winner talks Maestro, Chicago Little Shop, and what's next. Now, also, there's calls apparently for other people that have been in this stupid fucking show to be part of Doctor Who. So, you know, don't think Jinkx Monsoon will be the only drag that we'll see in Doctor Who, because it's clear that RTD is using Doctor Who as a vehicle because he's a bitter, angry old man, and he believes that there's a backlash against people, and rightly so. There's actually a backlash because when you involve children, but we won't get into that. But when you do involve children and you start encroaching on other people's rights, of course there's going to be a backlash. I mean, you guys bang on about rights when you have the same rights as the rest of us, but you want extra rights, and that's what the problem is. You are throwing your toys out of the pram because you want extra rights for these people, and they're not getting them. They don't have the right to be invading women's spaces, and they certainly don't have the right to be indoctrinating children. So, I mean, look, you know, you might be mad about that. And Jinkx Monsoon might be mad about that, because I don't know what your fascination is with gaining access to children. You know what I mean? I don't know why there's such a push to indoctrinate children. Right? Doctor Who's a sci-fi show. Right? Nobody gives a shit what you identify as. And I'll say it out straight. Nobody gives a shit what colour skin you have, right? What you wake up and call your fucking self, or what you identify as. The reason why people have a problem is because you're not pushing this on the rest of the fucking society, and the rest of society doesn't agree with you. And whether you like that or not, that's the reality of the situation. It's not phobic in any way. There was never a debate on this, right? There was never nothing. Now we're finding out that everything that those activists came out, those QTQ activists came out with, was a load of bollocks and lies, right? And they've done a lot of damage to children out there, and that's why there's a pushback. But Jinkx, Monsoon and RTD and everybody belong to this show want to set up this narrative that everybody is transphobic, everybody is racist, and everybody is homophobic, and all of this other nonsense, right? But again, the Jinkx, Monsoon, the only thing that matters is Doctor Who is the cutest ever. It's the cutest ever, right? Because that's what matters to these people. That's all that matters. It's all about me, 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 me. Look at me. Pay attention to me. No, we won't pay attention to you. We're sick of fucking paying attention to you. You've had enough attention over these last couple of fucking years, right? You have gotten a long way, and you are still not fucking happy. And you will never be happy. And that's the thing. You activists, right? You people that support it, they will never be happy, because once they get something, they want more and more and more and more before we get to a point where what they're asking is impossible. Anyway, let's so after all her success, I'm just reading bits of this article by Mashable. Now, if you just want to go and read the whole article, you are more than welcome to do so. But they just talk about the actual episode. But I want to get into the juicy parts of this article. So after all her success, it's like for Monsoon to get paid to say timey-wimey, as she does in the episode The Devil's Card. In an interview with Mashable, she said, "It's really incredible as a Doctor Who fan myself, and as a big and as a big of the David Tennant seasons, the fact that timey-wimey was written into my dialogue felt like a special gift from RTD, and I loved saying it. I'd say it for free. Getting paid was a bonus, right?" Also, they say, where is it? Monsoon explained over a Zoom interview, "I could tell you from the experience I've been working on the sci-fi, nothing has ever been so close-lipped and secretive. And I love that. It's a special challenge as an actor to only have little bits." So they do an interview. The interview is actually there if you actually want to listen to it. To be quite honest, it irritates me. So can we just get to the part here? Where is it? So she wrote. She said this. Reflecting on her work on Doctor Who, Monsoon mused, "When you're working at a certain level, the likelihood that everyone is there because they want to be, and they're there because they're passionate about this, is much higher. And when there's a room full of people who have set all their egos aside," yeah, RTD certainly hasn't left his ego aside, and neither have you, to be quite honest. And we'll get into what you said a little bit later on about fans. I'm experiencing that right now in a little shop. I experienced that in Chicago and Doctor Who. It was an honor as a performer to get to work with other people who really love what they do and want to do it to the best of their ability. And then this is where we start getting into, the mentality of Jinkx Monsoon. "I feel like I could go anywhere now," she said. "Like I used to feel so limited because drag was my chosen medium. When I was in acting school, I thought I'd give up drag. I thought I had to give up drag to be effective working actor, and that just didn't end up being true for me, because immediately after college, I was playing female roles in theatre. Right, so you limited yourself because you decided to get into an industry that wasn't family friendly, but now all of a sudden apparently it is family friendly. Your type of drag was never family friendly. The trans feminine actor, wow, there's one for you there now, new word folks, trans feminine actor, who publicly came out as trans in 2017, continued. Some directors just always saw me in me, even before I saw me in me. You know what I mean? So I said to myself, you don't have to give up drag to be an actor. You can marry the two. So you're saying that other people knew that you are drag before you knew you are drag, but then you just accepted that you are drag, and then you decided to marry the two. I mean, does that come across as saying to you and any of yours? I'm actually confused. So since All Stars, Monsoon counts herself lucky to be offered roles that have been all a perfect fit, referring to Mama Morton, Audrey, and the Musto. I feel like the door is open for me and for other drag entertainers and trans entertainers and visibly cues people to come in and start claiming our space in front of the camera and on stage. Listen, that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's a takeover for you guys, claiming a space. Listen, you had your space, which was in drag. You've decided now, because you want your cake and you want to eat it, you've decided to encroach into the acting world now, and you want people to accept the fact that you're drag and you want more drag. I'm sorry, I don't mind if you do adult dramas and you play a drag character. I honestly don't give a shit. It wouldn't be something I'd watch anyway because I find you irritating. But your act has no business in Doctor Who, right? And the reason why it does is because you're drag, right? The drag scene is not what you are all making it out to be, right? I've DJ'd at drag events back in the day. I know the carry on that goes in those events. Panto was completely different, right? I loved how the left tried to say the two are the same. They're not. Panto is completely different, and Panto is harmless, right? Whereas this is causing harm because you're pushing an ideology that the rest of the world doesn't agree with. It's a small minority of the population that has the biggest voice right now. And that's all it is. And I mean, I loved as well where you said it was a minority in the fandom, but we'll get into that in a few minutes. But the reality is, like everything the left says, it's a lie and it's smoke and mirrors. You know, the other side is the majority and always have been. And it's the same in politics. You know, we say the far right and the far left. There is no far right, but that side is the majority, right? And the left is the minority, right? And they always have been, and they're finding out very quickly here in this country that they're the minority, and that's what needs to happen in Doctor Who. And this is why people need to call out Jinkx, Monsoon, and all of these reporters. And this is why I'm doing this. Anyway, let's so claiming their space, right? So Monsoon declared, "We've always been here. We've always been part of the entertainment community. We've just not being able to be as vocal and as honest as we're getting to be now, yeah, that's because society's morals have completely gone out the window. You should go back in your box and stay in your box, and that's okay. As I said, if you want to play drag characters in adult stuff, right, that's for adults to watch. And I don't mean dirty stuff. I mean adult entertainment. Well, then I have no issue with that. I won't watch that anyway. I'm a sci-fi fan. That's why I tune into Doctor Who. But I don't tune into Doctor Who to be told by someone like you that I must accept you because you've decided that you want to change who you are. And that's fine. You could do that. But I don't have to play along. Do you know what I mean? Society doesn't have to play along. And honestly, Monsoon said with a smile, I think where every swing the conservative right takes at us, entertainment goes, you know what? We see you and we raise you the cutest season of Doctor Who you've ever seen. And reality, it's just going to be incredible. So what basically Jinx is confirming that RTD is deliberately making this show cure because he wants to get back at the conservatives, right? And this is what this is all about. And this is why others out there will support this, because some of the lefty Doctor Who fans are actually Labour Party, right? They're all a bunch of anti-Semites, okay? And they're angry with the Conservative government because the Conservative government is saying, listen, I'm not playing along with your delusions anymore. Society is not playing along with your delusions anymore. So because of that, and because of the CAS report and everything that's been coming out recently, RTD has decided, well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use Doctor Who to get my message across. If we're going down swinging, or we're coming out and we're swinging, we're not going to give up and all of this other rubbish. So Jinx has actually confirmed there that RTD is deliberately making this show the cutest Doctor Who that he's ever made because he wants to get back at the conservatives. And then fans in the fandom say, but it's a false narrative that he's pushing an agenda. It's a false narrative that he's ticking boxes. And the reality is that's exactly what he's doing. That's exactly what he's doing. And there it is from the horse's mouth themselves, right? RTD despises the Tory government, right? He has decided that now that he has an opportunity with Doctor Who, a franchise that's been around for 60 years, he's decided that is the perfect platform for him to throw digs at the Conservative government. You are a sad, pathetic little man. That's what you are. You have no right to use Doctor Who for your own personal agenda because you're mad with the world. Okay? You've absolutely no right to do that. Right? You're there and you're paid to write the best version of Doctor Who that you can. And you are not living up to that expectation because you've decided that it's more important to you to push trans ideology, trans rights, and all of the other bullshit that you want to throw into it. And you are absolutely wrong on every level to be doing that. And this is why this show, already the first 2 episodes, and by the way, the spin out there from the other side. Listen, these are pathetic, right? Okay? We had some media outlets blaming the weather, right? Why the ratings were down. Then we have some people say, well, most people watch on iPlayer, right? Then we have people saying, oh, the ratings don't mean nothing. Well, then why is BBC on a prime time spot then on a Saturday night then, if ratings don't mean nothing? The overnights may not mean as much as they did, right? But the reason why they're listed, you bunch of fucking morons, with the rest of the ratings is because they're still relevant. So you can spin all you want. 2.2 or what was it? 2.4 and 2.2 for 2 episodes of a season opener Doctor Who was pathetic. And stuff these are consolidated figures, by the way, because that's the ones you are saying you're waiting on. They're gonna actually rig the consolidated figures, right? They're not going to tell you the truth of who's watching this fucking show, right? Disney Plus don't even show the ratings of their shows, right? They don't actually show the viewers that tune in, right? They put it in a table, a top 10 list, right? But they don't actually tell you how many people are tuning in to these shows. They never do, right? So you're not going to find out the real truth and the real mess of this ever, right? But I can tell you, if any of the other Disney shows have anything to go by, right? This show, look at this show is already in trouble. It's done. It's dead in the water before it's even started, right? And all because this man is bitter with the world, and he's decided to use this show as a platform, and now his cheerleaders are cheering it on while they're destroying Doctor Who, right? And this is, as I said, that's all that matters to Jinx and everybody else. They don't care about Doctor Who. Call yourself a Doctor Who fan. You ain't a Doctor Who fan. And don't say you're a Doctor Who fan. I'm sick of all you guest stars coming in and claiming to be Doctor Who fans. You're not a Doctor Who fan. Because if you're a Doctor Who fan, you would have had the good grace to stay away from the fucking show. Right? Because you would have known that there's no fucking need for drags to be in fucking Doctor Who. It's a sci-fi fucking show. Right? But all you are is you're just like everybody else. Me. Look at me. I need attention. I'm a victim. Get over your fucking self. Anyway, let's get into the second article, which is by Variety. And again, Jinkx Monsoon. Doctor Who star Jinkx Monsoon unpacks Maestro, the serious, wackiest, most musical villain yet. And we won't be getting into the interview on what they said. Again, the article's in the link description if you want to actually read what they have to say about their character. I'm not interested, because all I know is the reason why your character is on Doctor Who is because you happen to be drag and because RTD wants to push a narrative. Right? You're not on because you're actually talented. Right? That's the bottom line. Right? You're being brought in for a particular reason. And you don't mind being used because, again, all you people don't mind being used because you actually firmly believe that everybody in the world hates you, when that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is that we believe that this ideology may not be good for our children, so leave it out. Right? And that is a valid argument to actually have and a valid opinion to have. But because we have those opinions, you guys want to push back. Right? And as I said, I don't care. I'll call you out all season. I'm not having this bullshit and this false narrative going around about Doctor Who fans. The bottom line is this, right? If you can't have a debate on this, because that's what Doctor Who's supposed to do, isn't it? And if that's what RTD is doing, he's using it to highlight these issues, then why can't we debate it? These are still, even after saying, after the showrunner does all of this for you, is that nobody can debate it. And I'm sorry, but you may not be in the fandom long, most of you, but that's what we do in Doctor Who fandom. We debate things. We debate everything that goes on with the show. So if you have a problem with that and have an issue with that, right, well then you should go to RTD and tell him not to be bringing up the issues that he's bringing up in the show. Then we wouldn't be talking and moaning about it, would we? So you can't have your cake and eat it, right? There's going to be debate in the fandom whether you like it or not, right? And nobody's transphobic for having an opinion on the trans issue, right? Everybody's entitled to an opinion on it, and everybody's entitled to give their opinion. It's as simple as that. Right? But what you're not entitled to do is ram your opinion and force your opinion down other people's throats. And that's what RTD is doing. So anyway, let's get into the part that I want to highlight of this article. Again, the article is in the link description. Where is it? This is it. So this is the media setting up the racist and the homophobic narrative that I told you they were going to do. Shuti Gatwa, as new doctor, has unfortunately faced a barrage of racist, homophobic backlash to his casting. Do you have a message for these online trolls? I used to find diplomatic ways to talk about this, and now truly how I feel is, who gives a fuck what bigots think? A more optimistic way and idealistic way of looking at this is that popular opinion is not on their side. They are a very loud group, and they are growing louder as they grow smaller. With every way they lash out in this way, the conservative right, there you go again, has decided to take an all-out war against trans people, Q people, and people of colour, and claim they are not what they are doing. But that's clearly what they're doing. Numbers are not shrinking for every transphobic, racist, bigot Doctor Who fan that we lose this season. There are going to be 3 or 5 new fans that are coming in for the representation. So to those fans who are not fans, I say, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Now listen up, you little Bette Midler wannabe. Right? You're not the minority. You're not the majority. You're the minority. You look in every country around the world, there's a pushback against this. So to claim that you're the majority is an absolute lie, right? Also, you said that there's a war against trans people, queer people, and people of color. It's actually black people. People of color is actually condescending, by the way, and black people don't like using the term people of color. It's all you lefty little twats that like to put labels on people that call them people of color. But you know, the people over here in Ireland don't like being called people of color. The black people, that's what the color of their skin is. The black people, we're white people. You have Asian people, all different types of people living on this planet, right? So you've said there's a war against. No, there isn't a war against trans people or the trans community. There's a war against the activists and the adults that are irresponsible and pushing this on children. So let's get our facts straight. See, this is what you do in the media. You make it out that it's everybody. There's a specific reason why people are angry, but you always leave that out. You always leave that out. Just like you leave out the fact that there's a lot of detransitioners out there that have criticised these activists, but you leave that shit out. You leave that shit out. You never cover that as these so-called advocates for people. Right? So again, racist, bigoted Doctor Who fan. There is no racism, right? I'm not saying there isn't any racism. Sorry, I'll rephrase, right? At the level of racism that you are all talking about and the media talks about is a lie. There's a pushback because countries are being invaded by unvetted migrants all over Europe, including my country. And we've already seen the state of the UK, especially places like London, Birmingham, Luton, and so on. Right? So it's not racist. People are worried about who's being let into their communities. But again, you don't talk about that because you're a lefty little fucking indoctrinated moron You little Bette Midler wannabe. Anyway, you said for every bigoted fan that left, there would be 5 new fans coming in here for the representation. Well, the ratings have shown that that is not the case. And what's happened is actually not only have you alienated Doctor Who fans, but the British public have clearly turned off and said, fuck you. That's what they've said. They've told RTD and everybody that's part of that show to go and F themselves. Right? That's what they've done. So this isn't the win that you thought it was going to be, Bette Midler wannabe. Right? It's not the win you thought it was going to be. And the fact that, again, you brought up conservative right, the conservative right, the far right, right? There is no far right sweeping across Europe. It is concerned citizens, right, that are worried about what's going on in their communities and their countries. But, you know, you're on board with all of this shit anyway, you know, just like RTD is. You like to push certain agendas, just like RTDs. Are all bred the same, right? You don't have independent thought. You are all sheep, right? You are absolutely destroying this world. You're destroying youth, right? Children with mental health issues are being preyed upon by activists and told all of this fucking nonsense and being even put even more confused than what they are, right? And it's absolutely wrong. And the entertainment industry ought to be ashamed of itself for what it's doing. They're just as bad as all these activists pushing all of this stupidity in a show called Doctor Who, a sci-fi show, right? Sci-fi show. This isn't a biology class or a gender studies fucking class, right? Or I don't want to be lectured about fucking climate change either, right? I want bang, bang, shooty space, fucking aliens and fucking the Doctor rescuing people and the Doctor from Gallifrey. Not a fucking refugee. He's not a fucking refugee and we won't accept that either. The Doctor is from Gallifrey and was born and raised on Gallifrey and decided to live. That's the narrative we're sticking with. That's the canon we're sticking with and the rest of it is irrelevant. So this is what you're getting, right? And Jinkx Monsoon, by the way, won't be the only fucking idiot that's on Doctor Who that will have something to come out and say, right? Now, I'm hoping that the new companion that's joining doesn't come out with this rhetoric because she won't need the backlash from the fans, but she will receive a backlash if she comes out with all of this shite, just like that journalist did yesterday, right? Just like the shite that Jinx is coming out with now, right? Yeah, and listen, it's being confirmed, folks. Be under no illusion. And I just want to say to those fans out there that seem to be, you know, lording their standards or saying whatever, it wasn't bad, let's see what happens, right? I'm at the proving to you guys right now that RTD's intention is to make Doctor Who the cutest show on TV, which means it's going to be full of messaging and it's going to be full of the bullshit. So how can you sit there as a Doctor Who fan and tell me that you're okay with that when all of you've been doing, like myself, is complaining about the Whittaker era? Why is RTD getting a free pass off some years and why are some years lording their standards or sitting on the fence, right? The only way that this show will ever go back to what it fucking was is if fans keep calling this bullshit out. And I mean relentlessly now, right? I don't mean once or twice when an art, you all the fucking time, every day, right? These people need to understand, right, that we're not going anywhere for starters. And second of all, we do not agree with this, right? And I don't care what people call me. I don't care what people call me. You can call me all the hurty words all you fucking want, right? Doctor Who is a sci-fi show, and if it doesn't go back to basics, right, you're going to lose more of your audience. And I can't wait until the next. Actually, I did say the Moffat era, the Moffat episode will probably get a little bit of an uptake because it's Moffat. But after that, then the rest is written by RTD. We'll see how it performs. But I can tell you now, right, if it's at the 2.4 level mark, this is going down under 2 fucking million on TV. And nobody out there can justify those low ratings on BBC. Fuck off. Right? Everybody needs to start calling this bullshit out. It's the only way that we're going. And by the way, I've seen people put petitions out there. No offense to you, right? But we did that here during the Whittaker era. And I'm going to tell you, petitions don't work. And they're not going to work. Right? The tactic has to change now. Petitions are done. Right? Okay? As I said, when one of these journalists come out with a fucking article, call them out. She's at the running now. She's at the locking her account. I'm not saying abuse anybody. I don't agree with that, by the way. But you do have every right to express your opinion. She puts out a bullshit article like that. And the same with Jinkx Monsoon. I gave my fucking opinions and they blocked me. Right? That's the way you do it. Right? You make these cowards fucking run. Right? And we don't sit on their laurels and let these fucking people control the narrative anymore. Right? Trying to make out that the majority of Doctor Who fans are racist and all of this other bullshit, right? They were sexist the last time, misogynistic. Now it's racist, is it? Fuck off. Sick of it all. Sick of it all. You can't even write a fucking decent sci-fi show. And then when the writing is actually shit and the character development is poor, you distract the fandom with all of this nonsense. That's what you are doing. You're distracting the fans from the fact that the first 2 episodes were absolutely bullshit. Right? And it actually is annoying me that fans out there are sitting on the fence and there's fans out there that are not actually being truthful about this. You all know it's dog shit. Right? The messaging is going to be strong in this. Jinkx Monsoon has confirmed it. What more fucking proof do you need? What more proof do you need that Doctor Who is going to be used as a platform for this man's delusions, right? RTD's delusions and his bitterness, right? Because he's angry with the world, right? And he's angry with the Conservative government. And you know what? It was telling. Lee called it, right? When he did that rant, when he was up on that podium after winning an award, he came out against the Tories. Everybody there and then shuddered and said, this is it. It's done. Doctor Who is done. And that's exactly what's planning out. He's using this to get back at the Tories, the Conservatives, the people that are coming out and saying, hang on a minute, we have to have a discussion about trans issues with children. We have to have these discussions on migration. We have to have these discussions on whatever topic happens to be, or social fucking madness that's going on. Right? But according to all of these people, you still can't have that conversation, even if RTD highlights it. You can't bring it up, or you can't come out with constructive criticism or criticize what he's doing. Because if you do, you're homophobic, you're racist, you're transphobic, and all the other phobes you can fucking think of. Right? Because that's all these people have, are words. Right? And there's no way that they can deny that RTD is using the show now. Because it's after coming out of Jinkx Monsoon's fucking mouth. Right? It's after coming out of Jinkx Monsoon's mouth. So it's proof. He is using this show. He does not give 2 fucks about Doctor Who. Right? He does not give 2 fucks about this. Right? He probably originally came in and he probably did have an idea what he was going to do. And I reckon when all the stuff kicked off with the Conservative government, he decided a different plan and he decided he was going to use Doctor Who to get back at them. Maybe there was at one stage he came back and he was going to do right by this show. But he's just done a complete 180 now. And this is what he's going to do. So, listen, there is no doubt that he's using this show. And if you still support this, right, and you come out or you sit on the fence and refuse to say that because you don't want to upset people, well, then you're just as bad as the rest of them. You're just as bad as the rest of them. This show is never, ever going to get back to where it was or even close to where it was if fans don't start speaking up, right? Because to me, it seems that some fans have bought into the narrative that if you criticize, you're racist, you're transphobic, you're whatever, right? And some fans, I think, have taken that media narrative and they're afraid to speak up. Well, I'm not going to be afraid to speak up. And everybody out there that hates me can call me transphobic all they want. They can call me racist and homophobic, right? Number one, I have no problem with Shooty's casting and never have. I don't care if Shooty is cute or he's gay in his personal life, right? I do have reservations if they made the character of the Doctor gay because the Doctor isn't gay. Right now, if you have a problem with me saying that and think it's transphobic, I do not give two flying fucks what you think. Right? That's my opinion and that's what I believe. And it's not homophobic to think that. Why would you want to change a character that all of a sudden and change that character? You're only doing it because Jinkx Monsoon has explained RTD is going to use this show. Right? And as I said, I had no problem with his casting, right? So his skin colour, to me, was irrelevant. I was actually joyous because we had gone from Jodie Whittaker, a woman who never got the role, and you can call me sexist there all you want, I still stick by that opinion. She's never been given the role, right? But when Shooty was cast, I was just delighted there was a bloke playing the role. I didn't give a fuck about his colour of his skin, right? I didn't give a fuck about his sexuality. Right? But that's what you care about. That's what you care about. And then I start asking myself, why do they care so much? And then I've come to the conclusion that most is in the fandom that push all of this are projecting. Use where they're homophobes, use where they're racists, use where they're transphobes. And this is used all now over compensating now and trying to show everybody how you have changed and how you are all welcoming and all of this other bullshit. So you haven't been true to yourselves. I will stay true to myself to the day I die. Right? That's the difference. Right? I will not compromise my beliefs or lower my standards, right, because others have. And I'm saying it out straight, I think it's absolutely sad and pathetic, the fans, and I'm talking about the actual Doctor Who fans that are coming out and praising this or sitting on the fence. He's a part of the problem now, as far as I'm concerned, right? We need to call this out, right? Or we're going to have the same shit that we had during the Whittaker era, right? And we're going to have to fucking just sit back and watch everybody fucking just squabble rather than call out the person who is responsible for this, which is RTD. Listen, I don't care what other YouTubers' opinions are, right? I know Ballstreck, right? He has his opinions. We don't agree on a lot of stuff. He'll tell you that himself, but he's entitled to his opinion. I don't give a shit what opinion he has. He doesn't give a shit what opinion I have, right? I don't go to him and say he can't have his opinion. He doesn't come to me and say I can't have my opinion. But see, that's the difference between me and the other people in the fandom, right? He's want me to get upset about someone else's opinion, another YouTuber that I know. No, he can have his opinion, right? He can have his opinion. And as I said, again, I keep saying this, right? But nobody listens, right? He does those videos the way he does those videos because he knows it's going to wind all you up. And you just buy a hook, line, and sinker every time. The same with Rabbi. So why should he change the way he does things if he knows that all you guys are going to get upset, right? How about grow up, be mature about it, and if you don't like watching a certain YouTuber and their opinions and what opinions they have, well then don't fucking watch. Nobody's forcing you to watch, right? That's the problem with all you lefties, right? You all go give out to us about our opinions and have a moan and a bitch about it, but nobody's forcing you to watch, but you do watch. But you do watch. You watch every fucking time. You watch us fucking religiously. Right? You hang on every fucking word we say. So then you can go and attack. He's not a neo. He's not a neo. I know him, right? You don't know that guy. See, these are just words used like the band about. I know him, right? I know him 7 fucking years, right? And if I thought for 1 second that he was that, I'd have nothing to do with him because I don't like them. There's plenty of them in fucking Ukraine and everybody supports Ukraine. I don't support Ukraine, right? Because it's full of them, right? I don't support Gaza either because it's full of fucking terrorists in Hamas, all right? You'd like to throw out his words, you still. You know, white supremacy is another one as well. It's like throwing that out. But in reality is, right? Here's the reality, right? It's going to shock you. It's going to shock you, right? See, while you're all going out calling everybody right wing and this, that, and the other, right? But if you actually look at leftist ideology, right, and actually look at the history of it, it has origins within the Third Reich. So when you are actually like calling everybody else that don't agree with you the N word, you know, the bad German word, in reality, yous are actually the right. Yous are actually them, right? Yous are them. Because you don't tolerate other people's opinions, right? Everybody has to be the same as yours. I mean, it's actually quite ironic that when you study the left very carefully, they have parallels to those people, that mad Austrian and all of his fucking believers, right? So don't be thrown. Listen, don't. I said this. I don't think people realize. I says that when I do this, I'm going hard, and I will. The bottom line is, I don't really give a crap what you've got to say. You better look at yourself in the mirror. You better look at the people that you actually follow and the people that you listen to, and actually educate yourself and go back and look at all of this ideology and look at all of this and see where it all originates from. And you'll be fucking shocked. Right? The radical left is the right of the 1940s or the late 1930s, right? So don't be coming at me calling they're using those kind of terms in that chat, because the bottom line is that there's plenty of them around the world, all right, and I see them every day on social media, and they call themselves the left, right? You even have some lefties over here in Ireland calling themselves comrades and all of this. We've even got communists running rampant now. Like, you know, back then, apparently we stamped out, you know, the old bad Germanism. That's what I'll call it, because you can't use that word, right? And we got rid of communism, apparently, or we defeated communism. But they're back in a big way. And who's pushing it all? The left. So don't come at me, because I tell you one thing now, right? These conversations are not going down this way. I'll be focusing. Listen, I'll focus on the twats on the show that have something to say, and I'll be focusing on what RTD does with Doctor Who. Okay? Now, as I said, you guys all need to wise up, because you are all on the wrong side of history, right? And whether you like it or not, I'm just going to give you a piece of advice, right? You want to really think about what you are doing, because the bottom line is history is not going to look upon you guys very well, and it'll look upon guys like me and others that have been fighting against all of this. We will be looked upon as fucking heroes, right? And I know this is not my ego, it's the fucking truth, because we stood for what we stood for what was right. We stood for morals. We stood for fucking everything that we stood for. Everything that you stand for, we're against. I mean, they're even promoting Satanism now, the left, right? And ritual and the devil, right? You are on the wrong side of history, and you always have been on the wrong side of history. We're on the good. We're not trying to do harm to the rest of the world. We're not trying to indoctrinate kids. We're not trying to destroy family, destroy communities around the world, or countries, right? We're not doing any of that, right? We're not pushing all of these divisive things like Black Lives Matter and all of these other things that are set up as devices to separate us all and to keep us all at each other's throats. My dream for this world is that we all do get on and that it's a utopian paradise. But we'll never have a utopian paradise when we have absolutely all of the lunatics that call themselves the left controlling everything that goes here or having the biggest voices. Right? Again, they are the minority, but they're powerful because they've got the media behind them. They've got governments even supporting them. But when that support goes away, and when all that funding goes away, you will have nothing. And the tide is changing. 2024 was the year, and I said it was going to be the year that the tide would finally change and there'd be a pushback against all of this. And it's certainly happening now. And it will continue to happen into the late 2024, into 2025, and so on. Right? Evil is not going to win here. Right? Good is going to prevail. And you know what? This whole thing, right? Not just with Doctor Who, but with what I'm doing in my own country, with getting out there, protesting, protecting my country. I have regained my religious beliefs. I have God on my side. And you might laugh and you might have a bit of and take the piss out of me because you don't like religion either, by the way. You know, you don't like Catholicism and you don't like Christianity because you spend all your time mocking it. But I've regained my faith through all of this. And I do believe that God is guiding all of us and to protect the world from this evil. And we will protect this world from evil. And we will protect children and we will protect those vulnerable in society. We want to help everybody. That's the thing. These people don't. They want to tick boxes and they want to show everybody how virtuous they are. But underneath it all, none of these companies, none of these showrunners, none of these government or NGOs around the world give two fucking shits about you. They don't care, right? Even Pride is coming up now in June. When you see all the companies like clockwork, as they do every year, right? Exploit that community to make a few fucking bucks. And I've been calling that out for years, right? Because I care what happens to the LGBTQ plus fucking community, right? We all fucking care, right? We want to make sure that you are all fucking safe and you aren't being fucking preyed on because you are vulnerable, right? We want you to be given the best fucking chance in life. But you've got adults around you, you've got media, and you've got governments that are poisoning our minds with all of this nonsense. And you need to wake up before it's too late. And save yourselves at this stage. Because we can only do so much. You still want their help. We're this, that, and the other. Right? So you won't listen to us. And the thing about it is half you don't even know why you're supporting half of the stuff that you support. Or you don't even have the slightest idea of why what you are supporting. And that's what the sad thing about this is. All this damage is being done, but yet nobody fully understands it. These people that are supporting you don't understand it. And this is why I detest like people like Jinkx, Monsoon, and detest people like RTD because the damage that they're doing, and they do realize the damage that they're doing. We can't not pretend that they don't know. Of course they do. It's an agenda they're driven, right? And they're not going to stop. And it's absolutely wrong. And with the recent report and all, I'm surprised that BBC has allowed Doctor Who to air when there's pushback now. Right, let's see what everybody said in the chat. And by the way, as you can tell, I do get very passionate about these things. I get passionate about everything I talk about because that's the type of person I am, right? And I don't mean anybody ill will or ill harm, right? But when I see other people doing exactly that, It has to be called out. So let's see what we got in the chat there. So we've got people talking there. We got Sally in the chat. We got Glenn in the chat as well. Long time no see, guys. We got Tens Hoovian in the chat as well. Welcome. We got Taylor Swift, greater than Disney, Star Wars, MCU, and now Doctor Who. Welcome. I mean, Taylor Swift, I suppose. Don't get me in, get on that. But Chris Persia is here as well. Nice to see you, Chris. Bobby D, 75, in the chat also. Who else have we got? We've got YW, 2324. Nicholas Horton, also in the chat. In the chat as well. Welcome. Leland is in the chat. It's nice to see so many faces from the past pop in. I know you don't pop in as often as you do. Life gets busy and all of that. And we've got the Cyber Next Zone one in the channel on the chat in the chat as well. Sorry, that's a bit of a mouthful there. And of course, I was just responding to Doctor Who Mania there. I mean, the thing about Chris, look, the thing about Ballstreck and all these people is they're not racist. I know these guys' ages. I know these guys' years. I think it's an unfair generalization made by people out there that absolutely hate him. And yes, people might like his style of video, right? But that's the bottom line is that's the way he's decided to do it, right? I have no issue with it. As I said, we don't always agree on things, and he'd be the first one to actually, back me up on that. We don't always have the same opinions. Do you know what I mean? But we haven't stopped being friends because we have different opinions on different issues with Doctor Who. Like, do you know what I mean? For example, he doesn't like, he doesn't like 2005 Doctor Who, right? Whereas I like 2005 Doctor Who. I said that he believes that that's where all the seeds were planted, right? So that's his opinion. But I didn't go to him and say, well, I'm not going to talk to you, because I don't agree with you. No, I just said, well, my opinion is I still like it, but I understand where you're coming from, and that's it. That's how mature adults actually talk, right? We don't fall out. We got Zombie Box reviews in the chat as well. Nice to see you, Zombie Box. Been a while. It's been a while. As I said, Dark Donny is also in the chat there. Welcome, Dark Donny. Nice to have you here. I'm liking some of the names, lads. President Lemon, of course. I'm still waiting on me lemonade, you prick. Where's me lemonade? He calls himself President Lemon, and I still haven't received me lemonade. Thought you were going to send me over some lemonade. The 99 Doctor is also in the chat. It's been a while. Welcome. Who else have we got? I grew up watching 2005 Doctor Who as well now, but I think to anyone who has no valid arguments to why the show is bad is just bad form. I think a lot of fans, including Ballstreck and others, have actually, highlighted what's wrong with the show. I mean, maybe everybody just gets distracted from the fact that he calls him Dr. Nutty, or he called Jodie Whittaker's doctor. What was it again? He called her. I forget because Jodie is gone now. I just blanked her out of me mind completely. But like again, he can call them what he wants. He's not being hateful. It's Dr. Karen. Yeah, that's how he sees her though. I mean, he sees her as a bit of a Karen, and the reason why he sees her as a Karen is because of the stuff that she came out with about the white male gaze and all of this other stuff, and Dr. Nasty. Because she was a nasty person. I'm sorry, but maybe you don't agree, and that's fair enough, and I'm not going to have a go at you, right, for not agreeing, but she came across as nasty to a lot of us in the fandom. So, same with Bolshrek, so he decided to call her Dr. Nasty, or Dr. Karen, whatever it was. He wasn't saying it to piss anybody off originally, but then he saw that it was pissing us all off, so then he just kept using it in his videos, and it's the same here. He calls Shooty's Dr. Nutty or something. You've all had a fit about that, so he's going to keep continuing using Dr. Nutty. Yeah, as I said, you don't have to agree with opinions on YouTube. You don't even have to agree. Listen, you don't have to agree with anybody's opinion on any social media platform. But if you go in and you decide to watch, right, or you decide to respond to a comment or whatever it is, right, if you react to that, that's on you and nobody else, though. You're the one that decided to check it out, nobody else. Do you know what I mean? So fans in this fandom that don't like me or don't like Chris or any other YouTuber out there who they believe are toxic, you don't have to watch us. But as I said, all of these people watch me. I've got 138 people watching. Right? Do you know when the last time I got 138 people watching was when the last era of Doctor Who came along. See, all of these people that hate me are actually listening to me right now. So how are you guys? One's left. One's left. But they're all here and they're listening to what I have to say. So then they can go onto their social media platforms or whatever, or go onto YouTube and do a hit piece about me. Oh, look what Nozan was saying. Rather than just say, do you know what? I'm just going to ignore him. But they choose not to. Right? I do my streams for the people that are here watching me today. Right? I've built up a little community. That's who I do it for. Right? Everybody else that watches, right? Everybody that watches actually is not forced to watch. But these people in the chat come here because they like to hear what I have to say. They mightn't agree with me all the time, and they might think that I might go a bit too far with certain things. But we all have built a community together. We know each other that much that we could say those things to each other, right? But I don't force anybody to say. I even said it a couple of weeks back. Someone was having a go at me, and I said, listen, you don't have to be here. I didn't ask you to be here. If you don't like what I have to say and you follow the channel, I even said to people, if you don't like what I have to say, unsub. It makes no difference to me, right? I don't care about how many people are subscribed to my channel, right? The bottom line is the people that are actually in this chat are the ones that matter. If I get extra people following the channel or subscribing, it's a bonus. I know exactly what I am on YouTube. You know, someone tried to say that I was looking for relevance, right? I'm not looking to be relevant. If I was looking to be relevant, I would have went full-blown Neo-N, as you call it, and I probably would be sitting here on 100,000 subscribers or something. But I don't do it for that because it doesn't matter. When I first started, yes, I did worry about subscriber count. I won't lie. Everybody does when they first start. They want to chase the subscribers. But now, I don't give a shit. I've got an audience that like to hear what I have to say. But for the rest of you don't have to watch me. You have a choice. That's the beauty of it. You have a choice. And I'm telling you, you have that choice. Just don't watch me. Because if you watch and then you come moaning at me, well, then don't get upset if I decide that I'm going to, say something to you. You don't have to watch. And by the way, if most of you did actually watch, you would see that and hear that most of the things that I talk about is common sense. See, this is the thing. People make me out to be this racist, homophobe, bigot. You know, I said some things about China one time, and to keep clipping that 40-second video out of context because apparently that hurts me, but it doesn't, because you know I don't give a fucking shit what I said about China back then. The bottom line is our whole lives were changed irreversibly a few years back, right? And my wife was in hospital, right? And I was in an emotional state, and I even corrected myself on that stream, right? But some people didn't like the fact that I gave out about China and called me racist, right? And then one YouTuber in particular tried to rehash that whole argument again by bringing that fucking video up, and I says, "Is that all you got? You want to do better than a video about me ranting about China, right? Okay, I don't care. You all choose to watch me, right? All you haters out there." And all would have a million subs and would be grifting for more and only answering super chats if he was one of those YouTubers. See, that's what I mean. You know what I mean? If I was pushing down that direction, right? I read everybody's comment. I get the odd super chat and I do be grateful, right? Okay? Yeah, other channels sometimes even ignore the super chats. I might read them the next day while they're live streaming, while they're getting more super chats. Do you know what I mean? Like, these bigger YouTubers are clever like that, right? But I could never do that. So I'm grateful the fact that people are watching. And as I said, if I get the odd super chat, I'm fucking over the moon with that. Do you know what I mean? As I said to you guys, even the support you guys have shown me, even hitting that like button to me is good enough, right? If you leave a comment, that's good enough. If you even go as far as sharing my streams, that's good enough for me. I'll earn whatever I earn on the views and whatever. It's not a big deal. I know for the missus it'll probably be better if I was making more money. Of course, who wouldn't want to make a few quid while they're doing their hobby and talking about their favorite TV show, right? But all I care about is the people in here that tune into me every single day. And we got loads of them. And we got another one. We got Lindsay in the chat as well. Welcome, Lindsay. We've also, yeah, I saw that. I don't want to mention his name, but I did see he got called out. Cybernex. I mean PD. And I thought I saw, Scottish Stab Wrestle Friends wrestle with Pop Cultures in there as well. I knew I saw another name. And Sally is in the chat as well. There you go. So I think we're up to date with all the names. But, you know, look, the bottom line is that, you know, as I said, people need to start talking up a lot more, you know. And I do believe that, you know, I brought up Ian Levine's tweet yesterday, and I don't always agree with Ian, but he did make a point that this show could still be salvageable if they just get someone in that loves the show and what loves writing sci-fi, rather than someone like RTD who wants to push a narrative and a stroking his own ego, because that's what this all is. This is RTD stroking his own ego and getting a little bit of revenge on people that he believes are pushing back against all of this nonsense. And that's what it is. It's nonsense, right? People need to start copping onto themselves now and seeing what's happening around us, right? Because there's countless lives being ruined, right? There's countless lives being ruined, and that's a fact, right? But the other side don't tell you about the countless lives that are being ruined. Actually, that's the dirty little secret that the activists have in relation to that ideology like to keep hidden is those people that were indoctrinated into the ideology, but then realized they were lied to, and then they actually decided to be themselves, what they were originally, their true selves. And those people now will suffer mentally and physically for the rest of their lives, right? But you don't hear the cult talk about those people. Now that's their dirty little secret, right, that they keep buried. But a lot of these people, as I said, are coming forward and they're speaking up. What will RTD do when the wave of opinion changes? When all of these people finally do have the courage to speak up about their experiences and what happened? What will RTD and all these cronies do then? Will you come out against those people? Oh, some of you already have. You said that they're brainwashed by the other side. Right. But that's ironic because that's all your side does is brainwash people into believing fantasies. Mariah Carey sang a song, Sweet Fantasy Baby. Fantasy it was called, yeah. I don't think she actually meant literally that everybody live out their fantasy. And some of us have fantasies that are very perverted. Maybe you keep them in your home rather than coming out onto the streets and showing people and exposing it to children and all of these parades that you do. See, this is what happened. Morals went out the window and we just let the degenerates take over, right? They all escaped from the asylum and now they're taking over society. And this is why we're in the state that we're in. 15 years ago, this planet and the human race were in a better position than they are today. There's so much division, there's so much strife in the world, everything's gone to shit, right? And it's all because of the left. Everything that they have ever pushed, everything that they've ever fought for is what is the result of what is happening today. And they want to still control that. But they know they're losing the fight. And they are losing the fight. They're losing it everywhere. And this is why they're doubling and tripling down now. And they're going to do a lot of damage before society finally cops on to all of this. Right? And the irreversible damage that they will have done to a whole generation of youth and others out there. We will not recover from it's going to take decades, and I mean absolute decades, to recover from all of this and to fix all the damage and to get back to some sort of normality in society. It's going to take decades. So shame on you all. Shame on you all. You're right. I will agree with you on that one, Dr. Who Mania. I mean, social media has played a big part in this. You're absolutely right. See, the advent of social media did this, right? And it is a bit ironic because I'm one of those people. We all are. But what social media did, it gave people like all of us and all of these lefties a platform to push their shit onto everybody else. David Bowie actually predicted this about, the internet and the advent of it, and that was going to completely change society. And he said that it was in the 90s, I think it was. And he was absolutely spot on. I mean, social media has absolutely ruined the planet. Because unfortunately, it's given people that wouldn't normally get to spew their nonsense and their hatred actually openly doing it. Yeah, Bowie was ahead of his time. There was a lot of great men ahead of their time that warned the world of what was going to happen, and it's actually transpired. And do you know what? Do you know what? We've only ourselves to blame. The human race will become extinct because of the human race and nothing else. And it's sad, because the human race has a lot of potential. And I don't think we've ever reached their potential. We've had some great feats throughout history. But the human race could really achieve a level of they could get to where we all wanted to be, which was the perfect utopian society where we were creative as a race, vibrant, all the things that we strive for, all the things that we said we were striving for, right, has gone out the window. Right, this is your new utopia. I hope you are loving it. And I'm not messing, I'm not taking the piss. This is your new utopia. This is the leftist vision around the world for the world. I hope you like it. And if you don't like it like me, well then, as I said to everybody out there, it doesn't matter what country you're in, you've got to stand up and fight against all of this. And as I said to certain vulnerable communities out there that are worried, I'll say to you out straight, you have nothing to worry about. We just want the people that are responsible for fucking up your lives to be held to account and to be sent to prison for what they've done. You communities have nothing to worry about. You will get the help that you need. You will get the support that you need. Because at the end of the day, that's all we want to do, and that's all we've ever wanted to do, and that's why we call this bullshit out. Because we know it's ruining lives. We just want to help. That's all we've ever wanted to do. We had to highlight this stuff, what was going on. And all we've ever gotten is vile accusations and names thrown at us. And all we've ever wanted to do is help you. And that's it. We know that yous are all being used and being manipulated. And yous mightn't see that because yous are in the heart of it. Right? So you can dislike me all you want. And dislike others that are willing to speak up and be brave to speak up. Because it is bravery today to speak up about these things. But I'll never stop doing it. I'll never stop doing it until I know that these people that are responsible for all of this are held to account and are put in prison for what they did. What they have done is a crime against humanity. And I don't say that lightly, it is. It's a crime against humanity. They have stifled the human race. And for what? People like to think I'm this big, mad monster, and I don't care, and all of this. I care. And this is why I keep doing. Even when people have told me this time around, no, you should just walk away from Doctor Who. Don't be highlighting these things. Do yourself a favour. Do your mental health a favour. All of this, right? Number one, I'm in a position where I can actually talk about this and it's not going to affect me mental health. So I just want to make that point clear. But I'm never going to stop talking about it. Because if I stop talking about it and then others stop talking about it, it will continue to happen and more vulnerable people will be put at risk. And no matter what the topic is, whether it's a TV show that's pushing an ideology, whether it's climate change, whether it's this whole issue with gender, right? It doesn't matter what the topic is. right? If people don't speak up against all of this stuff and how destructive and dangerous it is, and all of this rhetoric and fear mongering, that's the biggest tool that the media and all these people have. They use fear mongering, and then they project by saying, no, it's the other side, that no, it's you guys that actually you do all the fear mongering and the manipulation. I'm not trying to convince people that they're born in the wrong body, am I? No, I'm not. I'm trying to tell them to value who they are as they are, and to embrace that with all of their heart and soul. And a lot of these people would be a lot happier in their lives, right? Because any person I've ever seen that has transitioned, and Ellen Page is a great example of that. Now goes by Elliot. You look at Ellen Page before, and you look at Elliot now. The poor soul looks like they're absolutely sad and dead in the eyes. That's what it does. That's what it does. It actually kills the soul of these people, the brightness, the light in these people, because people have convinced them that, oh, you're not truly happy being you, so why not? Maybe you're not who you think you are. And I think that's wrong. I think that's wrong. There's nothing wrong with being you or who you were born, right? Nothing wrong with that. Embrace that. You were given a gift. Don't throw it away because people out there are telling you different. Be you. The person you're born is your genuine self. And I'm sorry, that's what I believe. You're your genuine self. And trying to be someone else, in my opinion, is not going to make you happy. You'll never be fully happy in your life. So this is why I call it out, because the entertainment industry push it. They're pushing it in their schools. They're pushing it everywhere in society, right? So this is not just a political issue, right? Or an educational issue, because obviously the schools are pushing it. It's also in the entertainment industry. So it affects all facets of society, and all different cogs are used. Remember, the entertainment industry is one part of a cog, all part of the machine. Listen, as I said, it's I mean, look, they went after my missus as well, President Lemon, and it's not nice. I mean, especially when it's your missus. Let's be honest, we're both married men. We know what it's like, right? Nobody talks to their missus or disrespects their missus, right? But they put my wife in hospital. That's how bad these people were, because I dared to speak up, right? They threatened my life and me dog. Even me dog was not immune, right? Me friends, people that are in this chat were targeted because they were associated with me. And in some cases, some people actually did decide that they didn't want to have anything to do with me anymore, because, in some cases, it was probably easier for them to disappear, because, then they wouldn't be associated with me, and then they wouldn't be getting bullied. But the bottom line is that I'm not going to apologize for anything that I did or said back in the day, because what I believed in. Now, if other people were affected by that, yes, of course, I am sorry that happened, but that was out of my control. I can't control other people because they don't like my opinions. Do you know what I mean? But some people decided to stay away. So, I mean, that was their prerogative. But the bottom line is, it kind of did hurt when people did turn their back on me. It's not my fault. I mean, and then like for some of these people that come out and claim that I was toxic, I was like, hang on for a minute, but you had the same opinions as me. So how come you're not toxic, but I am? But they weren't. See, what they were trying to do was play both sides as well, and I don't like that. What your dog do? No, nothing. Just the fact that I had a dog, and they tried to get under my skin. So they threatened me wife, they threatened me dog, they threatened other family members and friends. All because I said, right. And by the way, for anybody that's watching, the 147 of you that are watching, right, this is why all of this happened, right? You tell me in a sane world if this is actually sane, right? So they attacked me and abused me because I said a woman couldn't play the title role in a TV show called Doctor Who because it was a male role for over 50 years. And I said the only reason why they cast her was because they wanted to tick a box and they wanted to push the feminist agenda, which ended up happening. So I was right in the end, along with other fans. I was actually right. But that's why I was attacked. That's why I was attacked. Right? So you tell me in a sane world, does that behavior come across to you as these people being sane? Or does it come across as insanity? Because that's what it is. The lunatics, insanity. Oh, that wasn't Ted. That was another dog outside. He's a Jack Russell as well. He's like Ted. The two, they see people walking by and they have a bit of a bark. It's funny. But you know what I mean? You know, it's crazy that an opinion, and we've seen it with J.K. Rowling and everybody else out there that has a different opinion on whatever topic it is, and it can even descend into stupidity, even with this whole man-made climate scam that they're pushing, right? If you actually tell someone that, yeah, you think it's a scam, oh my God, the abuse you get. The abuse you get, even for having that opinion. I wouldn't even mind, right? If you were coming out with the most racist shit ever, right? And you are literally threatening people all over the shop, you would understand the backlash, right? You would understand the backlash. But to like have a different opinion on the climate and what's the causes of the climate change, right? You get threatened. You have an opinion about a TV show, you get threatened. If you have an opinion about a certain pop star out there, you get threatened. No matter what it is, politics is the big one, right? It doesn't matter what country you're from, right? If you do not support the left in what they promote, then it doesn't matter who you are and what country you're in, you're right wing. You're right wing, you're one of those mad Austrians, right? And his party, you're one of them, and you're all of these other words that they like to throw out. That's the world we're living in today, right? And then on top of that, then you have people then that just, you know, they look for any excuse to make themselves out to be a victim, and they'll post a video up crying, and then when you find out why they're actually, you know, crying, you're kind of like, well, you're the one that went in, and you're the one that hasn't legally changed their name, but you're actually crying and saying that you feel like you've been traumatized and you've been violated because someone called you by your birth name, even though the birth name is on your prescription and you didn't tell them that you identified as trans. So there's even people out there like that look, and it's the same with, you know, these liberal women that you see in their cars screaming their heads out, they can't afford to do this, that and the other. Then women complaining that they're like childless, and you have all of these blokes as well, liberal men coming out with our bullshit as well. Like, I mean, we're living in a fucking era where people are just absolutely soft and are just absolutely offended by every little thing that I say. And I can guarantee out of the 148 people that are watching, I've offended someone today. Right? I've literally offended someone today. Right? And they're probably disgusted with me right now and are angry. Right? But all I've done is given opinions. I'm not saying out of malice. I'm giving you my thoughts, feelings, and opinions. And as I said, you chose to watch me. I didn't choose. I didn't tell you to watch me. So if you have a reaction to anything that I've said, well, then that reaction is on you because you came into my space and decided that you are going to whatever. And you know what they say, especially you lefties, right? It's our favorite saying, right? Respect people's spaces. Isn't that what you say? Respect people's spaces, except if you're women. Right, except if you're women. It's all right to invade women's sport and their toilets and their dressing rooms, isn't it? See, the worst thing that people could have done in the Doctor Who fandom, I mean, the media and RTD and Shooty that one, Jinkx Monsoon, was to talk about this shite again. Because as I said, I feel like I've been revitalised. It's been a long time since I've tackled these issues because I just didn't bother. And I'll be honest with you, you know, I had put so much time and effort into the Chibnall era and all of the shit that was going on and all the stuff that was happening with the fandom that it took a lot out of me. But you know, we've had a bit of a long break now, haven't we? And I've been revitalized. But when I heard the stuff that Jinx came out with, I couldn't wait. I couldn't. And that journalist, actually, do you know what? It was the journalist article that actually made up my mind. When that journalist said, Doctor Who was never made for straight white males, right? I was like, okay, that's it. Shackles are off. Fuck this. Here we go again. And I don't give two rats' ass what people think of me, right? But if you write an article like that, then, and I forgot to add this yesterday. So this is directly to the journalist that wrote that pathetic article. I'm just going to say this, right? It's not our fault that you actually hate your own heritage because you've explained in stuff about how you, in your culture, you were expected to be either a nurse or a doctor and you wanted to break the mold. So you hate your own, right? Now, I get that. If you want to break the mold and all that and do your own thing, that's fine, right? You could do that. But it doesn't give you the right then to go and spew your absolute nonsense, right, about Doctor Who, right? You know absolutely nothing about Doctor Who, by the way, because your article actually proves that you know absolutely nothing about Doctor Who. But when you come out with stuff like that and you mention skin colour, but then you have the gall to come out and call people who have a problem with Shooty's casting because he happens to be a black man. Now, as I said, I've no problem with that. But I do know that there are fans who are not racist, who have actually, you know, formulated an opinion on it, and their opinion is plausible, by the way. I just don't have an issue with skin colour, right? But they put forward valid arguments, right? As I said, I don't have an issue, but, you know, you people, they're racist, right? But that's the thing. And this is what's at play here, right? And it's always going to be the same until we switch this completely. But when you have a journalist like that, right, coming out with stuff like that and rhetoric like that, then you have to call them for what they are. And what you are, madam, is a fucking racist, right? And I'm sick of this rhetoric from every single journalist out there in every single country telling me and others because we have white skin that we're an issue. How fucking dare you? How fucking dare you? Have you not looked at yourself in the mirror and thought, well, maybe I'm the fucking issue? Did it ever occur to you that you people, I'm not just talking about you, I'm talking about all these activists, and I don't give a shit what skin colour you are. All of you activists out there are the issue. Not the rest of us. Right? You're the ones that are going around this, and it's always men as well. I've noticed straight white males. What's wrong with a straight white male, by the way? What's your issue with straight white males? Does everybody have to be gay, queer now to you? Is that what you want? Is that what your goal is? Is it to make the whole world Q? Is that what it is? Because that's not going to fly. People can be who they want to be. The difference is that you guys want to force all these shit on us. The rest of us just get on with it. So you're a racist, but you ran like the coward that you are. Because that's what racists do. You run. You write something highly controversial, right? And you call out people because of the colour of their skin and their sexuality, and then you run. And then what makes it even worse is the fact that, you know, you're not white yourself, but yet you have the gall to call people racist if they mention that, you know, as I said, you know, they mentioned that their diversity ticking boxes and all of this other rubbish. You have a cheek to call people racist when you're actually being a racist yourself. Do you know what I mean? So I have no time for you. So no, sorry, I'll rephrase. I have no time for you or bullshit. But see, the thing about it is I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to call you out for it because that's exactly what you deserve. Now, as I said, everybody has every right to respond to that article in a constructive criticism way. I'm not saying that this journalist should be abused in any way, and she shouldn't be, by the way. She did. You know what the problem with that journalist is? She's just uneducated, folks. That's what it is, right? She believes in all this brainwashing shit, right? So in some ways, you can't really blame her because she's repeating the same narrative that a lot of these journalists have repeated over the years, right? So, you know, but you call it out and they go running. Jinkx, Monsoon, gone running, right? But you have to call them out. You have to hold them accountable because what they're doing is they're trying to divide people. And this is the biggest issue that I have and I have had in society, in our fandom for the last few years. That's exactly what they've been trying to do. They want to put us all in our own little boxes, right? They want to have all little labels on us, right? They talk about inclusion and inclusivity and all of that. Yeah, if you're white, straight, and you're not, and all of this, then sorry though, we don't mean you guys. We mean everybody else. So, you know, they're hypocrites as well. And this is the biggest issue that I have with them, right, as well, is the fact that they're actually so hypocritical. It's unbelievable. They don't even like realize that they're being hypocritical. Maybe some of them do when they're just too stupid to read. I don't know what it is. Maybe, do you know what? We say there's a woke virus, but I think it's a lack of intelligence virus. Because the IQ of the human race as a whole has completely dropped. Right? It's completely dropped. The human race is more stupid than it's ever been. And that's a fact. That's a fact. And TV, entertainment industry has a lot to do with that. The advent of reality TV, the push of consumerism, all of this. Right? Our IQs have dropped. The whole planet. Right? This planet is full of fucking dumb people. Right? Right? You go back to the 50s, even the Egyptian era, They were far more intelligent than people are today. Right? Look at the historical buildings around the world. Right? Of course their IQs were higher. Of course they were far more intelligent. Right? Well, look, if we were invaded tomorrow, the aliens would have it wrapped up within 5 minutes, for fuck's sake. Just look at the military in the USA, right? Just look at the military and all the other armies as well that are pushing all this ideology and our armed forces and all. We're fucked. Yeah, do you remember that movie? There was a movie with that name, wasn't there? Where some fella goes back through time and everybody is fucking stupid. Right? Everybody is completely stupid. Right? And he's the smartest man on the planet. But on his planet, he's one of the dumbest people on the planet. Right? That's the situation we're getting at. And I don't know why I'm actually laughing, because the dumber we get, the worse it's going to get, and the destruction of the human race. Listen, as I said earlier on, about an hour ago, you know, we're going to be responsible for our own downfall. There'll be no other external factors except us. And you know what? Maybe this planet doesn't deserve, you know, stupid people fucking ruining it. So, you know, if a big asteroid comes along, I welcome it. To be quite honest with you. Do you know what I mean? I've lived me fucking life. If an asteroid wants to come and finish us off, I'd say he'd be doing the planet Earth the actual favour. They talk about the climate and we abuse the planet like the environment. Do you remember when we used to be very concerned about the environment? And the environment was everything, clean up the oceans and, you know, clean up all. And that's right. We should be doing shit like that. We should keep the planet clean. I mean, nobody, I think, will argue with that. It's all this climate nonsense that we don't, you know. But do you remember when we were all big about, you know, protecting the environment, protecting wildlife and all? That's all gone out the window, sure. It's all about climate change now. They don't give a fuck about wildlife. Sure, look at all the wind farms and all the birds that die from those wind farms and all the animals. Right, it ruins the ecosystems and all it does. Where the environment's gone out the window, these people are lunatics. They're absolutely destroying the planet as well that we're living on. And then on top of that, then the flying airplanes up in the sky, and God knows what they're fucking spraying out of those planes. And then when you mention that, then people say, "Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist." But yes, some governments have actually admitted that they're spraying the people. It won't be aliens. What'll happen is they've been spraying the atmosphere for decades now. They've got HARP and technology. They've also showed that they can actually create mirages and stuff like that and create images that look real. So if any alien invasion happens, it's going to be a false flag. It's not actually going to be really an alien invasion, but you'll believe it's an alien invasion. And people will die because the governments of the world will be actually turning the weapons on their own people and not actually aliens. Well, that's the conspiracy theory anyway. As you know, I do like the old conspiracy theory or two. But, you know, a lot of these things that were conspiracy theories have actually come true, so they're no longer conspiracy theories. So when I see a conspiracy theory today, I kind of say, well, I wonder how long this is going to take to be verified, right? And these things don't really take that long anymore. What's the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth? 6 months to 5 years. Exactly. And that's the thing. You know, they're no longer conspiracy theories. Hole in the ozone layer in New Zealand, did it just heal up? Well, we did ban those CFC gases and all of that. Like, we did do a lot. We recycle now as well. Like, it's not as if we haven't done things or we're not willing to do things as a human race to improve the planet, right? We've always done it. Yet the ozone layer did heal itself when we got rid of the spray cans and they used, you know, they didn't use those gases anymore, right? The propellants and all of that were causing the issue. And we solved it, right? But this whole man-made climate change is a scam. The climate is going to change either way, right? And what everybody thought was the Northern Lights that was all over UK and all over Ireland wasn't actually the Northern Lights at all. It was HARP. They were testing HARP. We're getting ready for another major weather event because that's what they're doing. They're manipulating the weather. And for anybody that actually doubts that, look what happened in Dubai. Was it Dubai or Qatar recently where they were messing around with weather manipulating technology and it backfired on them? It backfired on them. So they have the technology. NASA can actually create clouds, right? And then those clouds go up into the sky and a few hours later, there's rain around 40, 50 miles a bloody way. So they can actually create weather. They can manipulate weather. And people are saying it's climate change. The climate is changing, by the way, but they're actually making the situation worse with all the stuff that they're doing. Right? They're making the situation worse. Right? Climate change is not going to be catastrophic, by the way. It just so happens that there's more humans on the planet this time as the climate has changed. So I'm much more aware of it now. But the climate has changed for thousands of years and will continue to change for thousands of years. And even NASA themselves have said the solar activity is unusual. And we're getting a lot more solar flares than ever before. And this is what actually controls the climate. And there's other factors on the planet as well, including volcanoes. You've seen a lot of volcano eruptions lately, a lot of earthquakes. It's all connected. The pole is shifting as well. That also contributes with the climate. And that's what you're seeing here. The pole is shifting, right? The solar output, everything is gone the way it would have went thousands of years ago. The climate is naturally changing. We make very little impact on the climate. It's all a scam to get extra money and extra taxes out here, and that's what it's all about. And by the way, ask yourselves a serious question. All these people that are pushing that, well, why are they flying around the world on private jets, and why do most of them have beachside properties if in 10 to 15 years' time their areas are going to be flooded and underwater? And if the sea is rising like it is, well, then how come to some parts of the world where they've got photographs from the 1800s, and then you look at 2024 photographs, the sea levels is exactly the same? See, what these people don't take into account is that the ice caps that are there, that are in the water, even though they melt, it's not extra water going into the actual ocean anyway, because it was solid. It was a solid entity. It's just breaking up there. But what happens as well is the sun evaporates water as well, right? Sea levels, right? Sea levels in some places are higher, and in other places they're lower, right? And that's a fact, right? The sea level rises and lowers all the time, all around the world in different places, right? Everything that you've been told about this man-made climate is a scam, right? And anybody that knows anything about it knows it's a scam. And those people have come out, but they get ridiculed when they do come out and express those opinions. Because the ones that have been bought and paid for know that there's a lot of money to be made in this. But where do you think these wind farms come from? Where do you think the technology comes from green energy? So there's a lot of money involved in this, right? And it's not viable, by the way. I'm not saying we shouldn't have green energy. We could use green energy if you wanted. There's some green energies that don't actually impact the environment, right? Okay, we can use it with the current energy that we have. But no, they want to wipe out everything that we have now and replace it, but it becomes more expensive, right? And we've already seen with battery-powered stuff that they're not safe. Some things have gone up in flames. The batteries in heat in the summer. Anybody driving a car now in the summer? We seen the videos last year of electric cars, and that car park in the UK going up in flames, electric cars. Like, they're not safe. They're not safe. They're even throwing this technology out and it's not safe. And this is why Elon Musk believes in the climate scam, right? It's because he's got a lot to gain with his electric cars. I mean, that Cybertruck keeps banging on about that horrible looking fucking thing. I mean, that's the worst looking fucking car I've ever seen in my whole entire life. And it has 15 fucking or 25 fucking batteries in this thing. If that thing was to catch flame, you've no chance. You've no fucking chance. We've seen buses in Dublin and all go up in flames. Not the ones that were put up in flames by the so-called rioters, but we just see buses combusting and cars combusting. Right? They had electric technology back in the early 1900s. So they powered cars by water in the 1900s and the 1800s. But that technology was keeping away from the public. Right? We could actually power a lot of things with water rather than using the energy that they want. It's the same with fucking, what's his name? The light bulb fella. What's his fucking, the fella that robbed it? Edison, right? He was a dickhead. He deliberately took over Nikola Tesla's work, right? And that whole thing, but used the AC conversion because he knew it cost more money, he'd make more money. It's the same with the light bulbs. Did you know that they actually have a light bulb in a fire station somewhere in America? I don't know what. I think it's in New York somewhere. It's gone like 160 years. They have invented light bulbs even back then that could light forever. But what they did is they deliberately made them only last a certain amount of time so consumers would keep buying light bulbs. There's a lot of stuff that they kept hidden. And there's a lot of stuff that you can do yourself that conserves energy and all of this, and they won't even let you. In some countries, they're not even allowed to collect their own water. They want to control everything. Anyway, the missus was sir, just give me a second there because the missus was showing me something.
Yeah, thanks for the stupid way you opened the couscous. It's all over the kitchen now.
Oh, is that? Oh, that's what I was going to have myself. Just a little bit of that because. Yeah, didn't need to be charged either. So they were showing it. They invented looking fucking cars that were circular and everything. Like, you should look at the technology that you had back then. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's mad. It's mad. But you see, I lived in a time and grew up in a time where all of this was either taught in school or, you know, you'd see it on TV and documentaries. You don't see any of this shit nowadays, right? You don't want you to know. There's plenty. There's actually kids on YouTube that have put up videos that have ended up being taken down, and they've showed you how you can create your own free energy, so you don't have to rely on all of these companies. But they're taken down straight away because they don't want people. And it's simple. If a kid can do it, we can all do it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that kid's not smart. That kid was smart. I mean, don't get me wrong. It would probably take us a lot longer than the kid because he was well versed in it. But we'd be able to do it ourselves. There, he created the everlasting light bulb, and then it was like it's actually a mission. It's actually a mission in Red Dead Redemption 2. See, even in games, see, that's what I'm saying. You used to be taught these things, and they didn't mind talk. Like, they used to call Tesla a pseudo-scientist, right? But he wasn't. He was a visionary. Not all of his inventions worked, and not all of his ideas would have worked, but the majority of them did. And then after he died, the FBI and stuff took all his shit. Like, when he died, his stuff was taken, right? Because that technology was valuable. There's certain people out there that want to control everything. And if anybody out there is smarter than them, well, then they either try to ruin them like they ruined Tesla, You know, Edison did everything in his power to ruin Tesla. Tesla ended up in a hotel room, broke. He was broke. He had nothing. He was the shadow of the man. If you ever see the last known photos of Tesla, it's actually very sad. It's sad. He looks about 90, right? And the life is being taken. And you look at a vibrant Tesla with his hair and his mustache and all of that. He looks great. Then you look at the last known photo of him. He doesn't even look like the same fucking bloke. Some have actually theorized maybe it's not the same bloke. I don't know. Maybe he did disappear. That's a rumor. Someone says it was very hard to get couscous back in the 1980s. Oh yeah, a lot of things were very hard to get in the 1980s. You got to remember the landscape of the 1980s as well. I mean, we had the threat of fucking nuclear war in the Cold War. You know, there was recessions going in multiple countries. I mean, madness. But we got on with it. And we all turned out all right. Like, do you know what I mean? The Prestige is a great movie. I was actually going to watch that the other night, but then I decided, and Cheryl will back me up on this because she kind of had a laugh. She does because she came out and did the famous scene, right? So I was watching. I watched Star Trek, obviously the movie. So I decided I've been binge watching the movies. So I had the Wrath of Khan on. She comes bursting through the door. God! It was funny. So yeah, I watched the Search for Spock the other night. So I'm actually on now, isn't it? The Voyage Home. Yeah, it is. So I'm on the Voyage Home now. So but the Prestige is a great movie, by the way. David Bowie is in that movie as well. And he plays Nikola Tesla, doesn't he? In the movie. That's a great movie. And the twist at the end of that movie. By the way, if you haven't seen The Prestige, I'll say nothing. But it's a great Christian Bale movie. And Christopher Nolan movie. I mean, you can't go wrong with a Christopher Nolan movie, can you? But The Prestige is a great movie. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, man. And there was another one with a man. What was his name? Edward Norton. He did The Illusionist. Now, it's not as good, I think, as The Prestige, but it was actually a good movie as well. And the only problem with The Illusionist was actually it came out the same time as The Prestige, and I think that's what the problem was, right? But if those movies had been released, say, a year apart or something, I reckon the two movies, well, Prestige went on to be a success. I think The Illusionist was a bit of a flop, but it's actually a good movie. It's just it came out the same time as the superior movie. Yeah, I'm doing the movies. I'll even watch the newer movies, the Next Generation ones. I'm not really a fan. I mean, Generations is absolute dog shit, but you know, I do like that the two captains are together. First Contact is brilliant, but the franchise, the Next Generation franchise goes downhill very fucking fast. I mean, you know, with the classic one, it stayed consistent. I mean, okay, William Shatner's one was a bit all over the place, but I still like that one, believe it or not. I see what he tried to do with it, and he has explained over the years what he tried to do, and the stuff that was happening behind the scenes with the budget and all of that. So I kind of understood it, but still one of my favorite movies. And then you've got obviously The Undiscovered Country, don't you? Like, but that franchise compared to the Next Generation was more consistent. After First Contact, I mean, Insurrection is not bad, but I don't know. I think with those movies, for me, there wasn't enough shooty, bang, bang in space. It was just mostly talking. So, Yeah, but I'll watch them. And you know, Nemesis gets bad stick, right? But actually, if it next to Forced Contact, it's probably my second favorite movie. And I know that's sacrilegious to say that, folks. Some of you Star Trek fans now will be having a go at me for that one, but I do actually like Nemesis. I will say this: I could see what they were trying to do. Is the execution totally on point? No. But I did like that movie. I liked Picard losing control in that movie. There was just something about that. I just loved it. I loved the fact that he was a bit unhinged. So, but that's just me. But shh, don't tell anybody that. Too fucking late now. Anyway, yeah, I am on the binge. So, yeah. Anyway, we're at the 2 hour mark, folks. I think I will leave it there and try to get some fucking food into me. I've been feeling up to it today. I just did her dinner today. I wasn't even in the humor cooking that for myself, but I'm gonna try eat something now if I can. Maybe watch the movie then. So watch The Voyage Home. Yeah. See where we go after that. See where we go after that. I've got Godzilla -1 to watch as well. So I might keep that. I might watch that today. I might leave that to the weekend actually. But yeah, I don't. You know, it's very rare that I watch something new. You know, I'm very picky and choosy now, whereas before I never really was. But you see, that's what happens when the industry doesn't give a fuck. You know, and the majority of the stuff that they're throwing out is trash. You may get 1 or 2 good shows and 1 or 2 good movies coming out each year. And you know what? I'm kind of fine with that. Because I don't mind watching Beverly Hills Cop franchise again, or Back to the Future franchise, or Lethal Weapon, or Alien, or Aliens, or the Terminator franchise. You know, I don't mind watching all those old movies. The last 48 hours, you know, or 48 hours and then all of that, Coming to America, you know, me comedies, you know, we got loads. So, you know, it's not as if I'm not, you know, spoiled. We are spoiled for choice, you know, and we can choose now today. That is the best thing about, I will say, probably modern TV, is the fact that we can pick and choose now. Whereas before, if we were going by the old model, we'd have all of this shite shoved down our throats, and we'd have no choice, because that's what would be on TV. But with all of these streaming platforms now, you can actually control what you watch yourself, which is absolutely fantastic. So if people are pushing a show and it has all of this shite in it, you can choose not to watch. It's just some of us choose to watch it so we can bash it and actually call out the stupidity of it all and hold these people to account. But, you know, people can primarily choose not to watch. The stream got more entertaining when we stopped talking about Doctor Who. Well, I'm not here to entertain. I'm here to call these idiots out. But yeah, I do enjoy when we stop talking about Doctor Who. I'm not gonna lie, and we do talk about random topics. You know, it's nice to hear what other people think as well. But as I said, it's what day is it today now? See, I've lost all track of reality. It's Monday, so I'm back on. I'm taking tomorrow off because I promised the missus. So I'll be back on Wednesday. I'll have me panel now. I'm gonna do the movie. I'm gonna do 2 movie zones this week because I was supposed to do the Bone Collector. So I want to do that. So I might do that on Thursday. More than likely it will be Thursday, and it'll be the only stream on the channel. So I'll do it for members Thursday, And then again on Sunday, then we'll pick the movie Thursday. That Thursday night, then when that movie's over, we'll pick the next movie that we're doing. So look out for that if you're a member for member streams. So I will be still getting the Bone Collector, still doing the Bone Collector with Denzel Washington and Angelina Jolie. So if you have a copy of the Bone Collector at home, come and join us for Thursday night, 7 p.m. member stream. And we'll be watching the movie. Now, as you know, because some people obviously don't know, so I have to explain this. We won't be showing the movie on YouTube. You're not allowed to show movies on YouTube unless you're given permission to show movies on YouTube. So it kind of baffles me when people start giving out to me and saying, oh, this is clickbait. The movie is not even there. Yeah, the movie isn't there. I'm reacting to the movie and talking about the movie while I'm watching the movie. What do you not understand? It's a watch along reaction, right? So you have to have a copy of the movie and pop it in. I'll do a countdown and we all press play together and we all watch then. And then people in the chat then, we have a conversation about the movie. I read out comments and I give my opinions while I'm watching the movie and we have a bit of fun. And that's how those streams work, right? So, because there's still people giving about me Flight of the Navigator one. I mean, thank you for the, I think it's over 70,000 people that have watched now, but it's not my fault that you all thought it was clickbait. I make it very clear that it's a watch-along reaction. Like, I don't know what more, you know, you've all been on YouTube for years. Where have you seen Flight of the Navigator, the full movie on YouTube? Right? If it's on YouTube, then it's to rent. But it's certainly not there because you're not allowed. You get copyright strike. You could take your channel down for that, right? It's only certain YouTubers, the bigger ones, that get permission to do all of that shit, right? Because they might be getting paid by the company. So I don't get paid by these people, right? I earn money on this channel by people who watch my streams. That's it. And the odd super chat, as I said, that I get, right? That's how I make my money. I don't get endorsed by anybody out there, right? I don't have any sponsorships or any of that bollocks, right? So this channel is, I'm not owned by anybody, and they don't own this channel. That's it. And there's the missus now. How are you, missus? You're looking good. Anyway. For the 158 people that are watching, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. It's the Null Zone where we talk entertainment here. Now, if you're listening to me and obviously you're into your politics, you can go over and subscribe to me on the Irish Zone where I talk all the stuff that's happening in Ireland and I'll post up some videos, and I will be doing a live stream on the Irish Zone there this week. So I'll let you know about that. So stay tuned. But I am uploading videos and posts up there. So if you want to go and check them out, please do and subscribe. And most importantly here, don't forget to like and share. And we will talk to you guys for the next one. It's been absolutely brilliant. And hold on, Chris just said something there. Let me see. It's in relation to the movie zone, I think. That's why we call it a watch-along party. I didn't see people complaining when Matt Smith and Karen Gillan did the same thing for an episode of Vincent of the Doctor. Exactly. It's one. Chris, you're with me a long time. You know what the game is on here, right? It's one rule for them and another rule for me, right? I mean, I'll give you a laugh. The conversation that we had yesterday got limited, right? Every stream that I'm doing on this channel now is getting limited, folks. And this is why it's important that you like and you share for me, or even leave a comment and help the algorithm. I'm not asking you to do any more than that. It's just support me in those ways. And I will be grateful, eternally grateful for that. That's all I ever ask, right? I cannot, listen, these fuckers on YouTube are making it harder for me to earn a bit of money, right? Because I don't pretend that I'm just on here to do videos. It's me hobby, but it's also turned into a thing that I enjoyed, and it's taken over full time, just like with the other stuff, right? But here, you know, be nice if YouTube actually paid me fucking due and stopped letting Warner Brothers and other fucking people with bogey fucking strikes and claims to come after me streams. Like, they're the one where I did the watch along. I've already said this to you, right? I disputed it because there's no music, but these people that had the cheek to claim it haven't dropped the claim, so they're going to wait the 30 days, right? They're going to actually wait the 30 days, right? Because this is what happens, right? So I put in the dispute, right? So they've got 30 days to respond to me. And if they don't respond, right, then the claim that they made gets taken away. But in the meantime, all the views that I get for that stream and all the revenue that I get for that stream have been put on hold now for 30 days because some bogey fucker out there has claimed a stream of mine that had no music. It was just me talking about 2 episodes of Doctor Who. It's unbelievable. Anyway, I'll actually show you, right? Because I showed it on X. But I'll actually show you go to the community tab in about 10-15 minutes, right? Okay? And I'll throw it up on the community tab and have a look at it yourselves. It's absolutely ridiculous. It is. Right? Anyway, that's me gone now. Have a good one, folks. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And we'll talk for the next one. Bye-bye.